श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रत्नाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमाहो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरकृषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. If anyone has a question from yesterday's session, you can ask, else we'll begin. Okay. So we are now moving towards the section where we are going to talk about how a living being who is deluded by Maya, actually, he he takes shelter of the Lord. Actually, how he can attain uh, devotion to Krishna. That's the last section, 26 to 30. Mm, for the five shlokas which has been spoken over here by Krishna. So the last verse that we read yesterday was 7.25. Naham prakasa sarvasva yogamaya samanvitah. So no, Krishna very clearly mudhoyam navijanati, right? Loko mam ajam avyayam. So ajam and avyayam, they don't know the Lord to be as ajam and avyayam, unborn and avyayam, eternal. They don't understand that. That is why they are, Naham Prakasa Sarvasva, Yoga Maya. So they are not known because of the curtain of the Yoga Maya and potency over the Lord. Murahoyam Nagijana. Murhas people don't know him. So in that regard, we heard that how uh, he does not manifest his forms to all the people in all places and times. He only manifests his features in front of a devotee. You know. Non-devotees he doesn't, and they all are deluded by him. And we heard this example of the Meru mountain. So the non-devotee, no, non-devotees or those who are mixed devotees also, they can't understand the Lord's form. Uh, so he is not visible to these people because of his Yoga Maya's potency. Because Yoga Maya does not allows it to make it happen. So that actually we may say we know that the Lord is Ajanma, is Aja, and is without a change of Vyayam, you know. But it's still understanding it refers to something. But if somebody has not come to that conclusion where this understanding should lead to, then actually he's also for him also the Lord is not visible. That's the reality. So now from 7.26. the last section it talks about how are deluded the way it has been said, Naham Prakash Sarvasva. So, how such a person actually comes to Krishna consciousness, can attain devotion to the Lord, is being now discussed over here in the five verses. So, please recite with me. Vedaham samatittani vartamanani cha arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Tejasvi allocate somebody to read.
Translation: O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. Purport: here is the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya material as the impersonalist consider him to be, then like the living entity, he could change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict what will happen in his present life. Therefore, he cannot know the events of past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. In the fourth chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivaswan, the sun god, billions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as a super soul. But despite his presence in the every living entity as the super soul and his presence, certainly the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. He is just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. Probably you are muted.
Yeah, yeah, sorry for that. So, because the Lord says, Naham Prakash Sarvasva Yoga Maya Samavitah. Some people may feel that, oh, if you are covered by Maya, then you are like a normal being, like we. So, no, so, and you will have all the faults, all the four defects that we have. The Lord is saying, no, 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 no. Yoga Maya Samavitah. First to know, that's why we said Yoga Maya. And it is He, actually, by His will, it happens. It is not Mahamaya first. So Lord is saying in this verse, see, I am not corrupted. I am not covered by Maya because Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratte. Mamevaya Prapadyante. You know. So, anybody who surrenders to me, he gets rid of the Maya. How I can, how you say that I can be actually deluded by Maya. I am never deluded by Maya. Actually, fact is that the Maya arises from me, arises because, and it serves me from a distance by acting like a screen. It is a screening device kind of a thing. It just screens who can see the Lord, who cannot see, or who can come to see the Lord, and not. So therefore, the Lord is saying very clearly over here that no, therefore I am not known to many people. Even millions among one of the Jnani can know me. Such rarity is there of knowing me. But I know everything, right? No? I know everything, the past, the present, the future. And that is why Prabhupada is writing in that verse that if somebody is saying like that, you know, how he can be have a material form because we don't remember our past life. Some people in the case of we hear about case studies of reincarnation where people remember their past life, but they can remember how many past life? Only one, the previous one. Is there any evidence where people remember even the thousand lifetimes back also? And Krishna is showing, telling in Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada is saying that, you know, Vyavasvanayam me praktaho, right? Now that verse is quoted here. And even I instructed Vyavasvan millions of years ago, you know. So is there any living being who can remember his millions of years ago what he was, which body he was, what he did? Prabhupada writes in that particular chapter, shloka, of Vivaswan, Mumya Proktaha. No, in that we even don't remember 1 week back what we were doing at this time. But Krishna has the potency to remember millions of years ago what he has done. No, he has given this knowledge. That shows his supremacy. The same way, the Prabhupada is also quoting that he is, he is not covered by Maya. As the sun and the stars, moons are not covered by the cloud. Our vision is covered. So, so the thing is, you know, Yoga Maya Samavitaha is different, and and this is Lord is saying to make it clarify. Vedaham Samvittani. You know, I know everything. So that is why I don't think I am covered a, by Mahamaya. No, no, I am not. Our living being's vision is covered by. It is not covered the Lord. In the spiritual world and the spiritual pastimes, so the Lord, the Yoga Maya acts to it, and so that is why not many people know him. Even when the Lord appears in this world, the Yoga Maya covers him, so that people who are right, who are actually eligible people, they can understand. Those who have devotion to the Lord, they can understand, not anybody else. So, although he is visible to the eyes of the people. So he is saying, Vedaham Samitritani, Vartamanani, present, charge, past, present, Bhavishyani, cha Bhutani, Mam tu Vedana Kashana. No one knows that, but me no one knows. I know all living beings, right? No? That says the beauty of the Lord. He knows us in and out. Bhavishyani cha and he knows our also past, present, and future. Future in the sense that he knows, according to the past, everybody can understand our future, the desires that we are shaping. So he knows everything about the living being, but hardly any living being knows him. Even a Jnani among millions of Jnani, one may know him. One may come to the stage of Mahatma who will know him. And that also Mahatma will not know him completely. To a degree, Krishna reveals himself, the Yoga Maya potency reveals the Lord to that Mahatma. So Vedaham Samitittani Vartamanani Charjuna. So the Lord actually is such a, Mam tu Vedana Kashtanaha. But no one knows me. Is a is a trademark where the Lord is saying that no, don't try to understand me by some mundane intellect and logic. Nobody can know me. You know, I am not known. I know everything, but hardly people know me, and it is not possible also because living beings normally are covered by the Mahamaya, right? No? Whereas those people who are with the Lord, they are also not knowing much because He is covered. The Yoga Maya covers. So, yeah, so it's very difficult. So people who are so one should know if we want to know about God, one has to go to a Mahatma, right? No? Because why I'm saying these verses now, in these verses throughout, you will see that a deluded living being by the Maya comes to devotion of Krishna only through the help of devotee, Mahatma, right? No? 3 point, no, 5.5.2, I feel so. That is the verse which, where, also been spoken about how, uh, I feel so is, this is the right verse which I, oh. So, excellent. So, yes. The very famous one. महत् सेवं द्वारमाहुर्विमुक्ते तमो द्वारं योषितां संगि संगम महान्तस्ते समचित्तः प्रशांत विमन्मय सा सुहृद साधवो ये. Right now, so when a living being actually comes, you know, a, in the association of a Mahatma, and which Mahatma, that is also been said. Mahantaste samachitta prasantah. Whose chitta is prashant, it is very peaceful, is fully engaged in devotional service. His chitta is not agitated by any material situations. Is fully engaged in devotional service. You know, actually, one of the also to understand Samachitta Prasanta is actually one who does not waste his time anywhere. So he is always constantly engaged in devotional service. And Vimanvayaha, you know, is devoid of anger. If you read if you read this shloka 5.5.2, and I'll show you a proper. It has a unique way of uh, writing word to word meaning for it. You are able to see, I hope so. So Mahantaste Samachitta Prasanta Vimanvaya Surida Sadhavoye. See what proper writes for Vimanvaya. Without anger. One must distribute Krishna consciousness to persons who are hostile without becoming angry at them. Right? No? Without anger. Prabhupada is not saying that no pure devotee, that Mahat will not have anger. No, no, no. He will have no anger, you know, he will not show anger, even while he's preaching, even people are hostile to them. He will be compassionate to them. So this is Viman Mayaha. And he is Suhrida, he is well-wisher of everyone, and Sadhava, qualified devotee, without any abominable behavior. Right? No? So, so this kind of a devotee, actually, if when somebody takes association, how he takes his association? सतां प्रसंगा मम वीर संविदो भवन्ति कर्ण रसायन कथा तग्जोष नाग असो असो अपवर्ग वर्तमनि श्रद्धा रतिर भक्तिर अनुक्रमिष्यति. So this mahat, how he has to be associated is been said over here. Satam prasanga mama veera samvido bhavanti rit karna rasayana katha. सुनेगा वो, सुनेगा और जीवन में अपनाएगा. उनसे सुनता है और जीवन से अपनाता है तो क्या होता है विवाह? श्रद्धा, faith, rati, attachment, bhakti, devotion, anukramishyati. In a krama, it will come. Faith will come, attachment to the Lord will come then, and then devotion. Bhakti means prema will come. Right? No? So, so that's a, and proper writes in that shloka of Satam Prasangam Amhaviri Samvido that people do ask how to be convinced of Krishna consciousness. Oh, this is the way. Now, what is the way to get convinced of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness? Satam prasanga mamuvirasam. Now, discussing, with satam people, satam, who is nothing looking for, who- who's who is not looking anything apart from Krishna in his life. Satam prasanga. So when he does that, mama virasam vido, when he virya, when the opulence, the greatness of the Lord and his sweetness is discussed among such devotees association or heard from them in the mood of service to them, tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, then shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. So this is the sum and substance of these five verses, which we have been going to talk over here. So nobody knows. Only these Mahat people know, right? No? So they are very important shlokas, for us. Uh, I hope this shloka may be for your memorization. I don't know whether it's not there or not, but I know. Okay, you're not. Your Bhakti Shastri. I'm talking you. I'm talking about these two verses of Bhagavatam. So anyhow, we move to the next verse. Uh, they are deluded. The Lord said, they don't know me. Why they don't know me? Why they are deluded? How they are deluded? Krishna speaks in the next verse in 27th number of shloka. So if you get any questions, you can ask me. Huh? In between, raise your hand and ask. So please recite the shloka. इक्षाद्वेषसमुत्तेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. Yeah, please read, one of you.
O sign of Bharata, O conqueror of the Puri, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arise from the desire and hate. Purport. The real position of the living entity is that of the subordinate to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusion and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusionary energy is manifesting the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by the desire and hate can understand that Lord Sri Krishna appears by his eternal potencies. But those who are deluded by the dualities and nescience think that the Supreme Personality of God is the created by material energy. This is their
Fortune.
misfortune.
Misfortune. Yeah, yeah. So please read. So the
Misfortune.
law.
Such deluded.
Yes, just a minute. So over here, iksha dvesha samuttena dvanda mohena bharata. So Prabhupada is very clearly saying that no, dvanda arises when living entity forgets his subordinate position to the Lord. When he forgets this knowledge, he gets into dvanda. Then he is deluded by the, and now he's controlled because he is be controlled by illusory energy. And illusory energy produces so many dvanda. So one of the dvanda is the desire and hate. You know, no, they want to, or due to desire and hate, they want to become one with the Lord. They want envy the Lord. It is because of the desire they want to become the Lord, and due to the hate they envy the Lord. So, but because of these desire and hate, we may say Prabhupada is going to explain down more also. So Prabhupada is saying that desire and hate, we may say these desire and hate I don't have for the Lord. Oh, but the desire and hate, the fact is there is also maybe for other things. Other things we may desire and some other things we may hate. Or some living being, we may hate and some we may love. You know, actually this shows this nature itself shows that there will be some envy towards the people, towards the Lord also. So, and Prabhupada is saying those are deluded by duality, the signs, and think that the Supreme this is their misfortune. Such deluded person, read, please read.
Such a deluded person symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Uh, so whose mind is in these dualities, too much of honor, dishonor, misery, happiness. This is mine. I am them, theirs. Whose mind is in this? He can't. Actually, he can't be. The Prabhupada is writing. He can't, understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead because their mati is in is still stooped into dualities, and the Lord is above dualities. So, iksha dvesa samutvena. That is why these living beings actually, they these living beings actually are caught up into this material pool, and they don't understand. They can't understand me. That's what is a lot over here very clearly saying. So since the beginning of creation, no, these all living beings are intensely, bewildered by the ignorance which is caused by the duality arising from like and dislike, you know, like, dislike, based on what? On their material conception. So, this is from the very beginning, right now, from the beginning of the creation itself, the living being, and beginning of the creation of this universe, that from that time only the jivas, when you're in the Mahatattva, in the body of Mahavishnu, they like, dislike. Oh, I don't like it, like it. I like it, I don't like it. I, and mine. This duality, this is my, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. This is belongs to me, this does not belongs to me. So, because of this delusion, a lot of duality arises in their life. So this is this question, this verse when Krishna is saying, actually is saying that dvanda mein mohena bharata. So this he's saying this dvanda is from when? Are it is from, you know it is from born, when the universe came, that time only. You know? They are deluded, So that is how it has been said that the living being's delusion is not new. It's very old. And till the point the living being actually does not rises above, he can't. Duality, because this duality gives rise to ignorance, moha, you know, and and it turns into some moha, you know. So that's this. These are two words, na. Uh, द्वंद मोहेन भारत, द्वंद से मोह होगा, and sarvabhutani sammoham, right? And in fact, it leads to, illusion and then delusion. Mohena is called as illusion, and sammoham is called as delusion. So, this, so in fact, initially, in the beginning, a person may be mohit, may be ignorant about it, and then he becomes bewildered by it. So, extreme attachment, you can say it. Sammoham is extreme attachment. So initially, like, no, like a man and woman, they are, the boy or a girl, maybe in moha, maybe, maybe attached to each other. They are ignorance. One is considered, I am man, is a boy, she is a woman, or something like that. I like it, I don't like it. And then eventually what happens? Some moha, extreme attachment develops. So a living being actually might be thinking, oh, this post position, I'll get it, I'll be happy because of moha. So some, ignorance, he may be thinking, and he adopts and gets it. Then what happens? He's extremely attached to it, right? No? Some moha. So illusion, it should illusion. So when living beings are, are like that, they are extremely attached. But but that is why they can't understand. Why? Because Bhakti says what? Yat rikshaya, yat rikshaya mat kathado जात श्रद्धस यह न जात श्रद्धस्तु यह पुमान. This is 11th canto verse. Na nirvinno na atishakto bhakti yogo asya siddhada. So what is when? One should be, uh, neither one should be too much attached, nor it should be too much detached. You know, too much detached means like a tyagi. Neither too much attached like a bhogi. No. ये दो लोग भोगी और त्यागी तो नहीं समझ सकते। भक्ति योग से सद्य सिद्धिदा, ये नहीं होने वाला। बट बट वी शुड बी अटैच्ड टू व्हाट? यत्रिक्षया। Somehow one should be mat kathado. Should develop faith in hearing and chanting my glories. Such a person is not very disgusted with or not very attached to material life. Why? Because he is not like a disgusted, like a tyagi, and neither he is attached like a bhogi. Devotee, he lives in this world, neither like a kind of a find that actually initially we see this as a Maya's Jagat, and that is right. But he is not too much attached, and he sees what I can engage in Krishna service, he engages it. If you are too much disgusted, how you can engage it in Krishna service? If you're too much disgusted with the you know uh, with uh, with your body, you can't engage it in Krishna service, and you always try to give it up. Whereas we don't see the devotees, doing like that. And is very attached. Neither should be attached to the body. So such a person actually can understand the Lord. So that is why nobody understands the Lord so much. It's very rare because everybody is in this duality. They're absorbed in the illusory conception, of me and mine, and sukha dukkha, respect, disrespect, happiness, distress. And I'm being treated. I know. If I am treated well, I'll be happy. If I am not treated well, I'm unhappy. I feel sad. These all conceptions, illusory conceptions, they become bewildered. That is why so these impressions of attachment and hatred, you know, is from previous life itself, because of iksha, dvesha, samudhena. So, this attachment and hatred is because of the iksha, dvesha. You know, iksha means you understand, it desire leads to attachment, dvesha, hatred, raga. So all living beings are bewildered in this way, and hardly they come to know me. That is why Lord is saying they are deluded. So okay, they're deluded. Then what's there? Is there some hope for us to come out? Good, you told us that we are deluded, and we have understood that we should not be deluded to understand. So one has to rise above. Krishna says, yes, you have to rise above. What is the way? 7.28. Next verse. Next verse is the way to actually you can rise above from this, from all this duality and come to me. Actually, what is the chapter? Some portion. Anasaktasya visaya nidhanabhaya nimbana krishna. What do you want to say by these verses, Guru? Yeah, only thing is that Yukta Vairagya also requires some Vairagya. That's why I didn't quote it that verse. First one has to Jata Shraddha, Yat Kathado, right? No? Till a point he has not very much a developed attachment. This is a quite potential weapon for distracting many souls. Yukta. This is a very high thing, for sure. Very, very high thing. But before to that, the qualification for Yukta Vairagya principle following is people who have developed, to the degree one has developed the attachment to hear about the Lord from Mahat. You know, that's why I didn't quote it that verse. No, no, I just told you about something about Prapanchita Kathaya Bhaktya Harisamya Moksha Prityago Vairagya. So actually, these verses are quite, has to be well understood because Bhakti Devi also has two sons, Jnana and Vairagya. So what is that Vairagya? What is not? So that 11th canto verse is a very prominent verse quoted by many acharyas for this. So anyhow, so now Krishna is saying that how you can actually come out of this delusion. This is the verse 28 number. Yesham tva antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam vratah. बोलिए भगवान ने ते द्वंद मोह निर्मुक्ता. राइट ना. कैसे होगा भाई ये द्वंद से मुक्ति कैसे मिलेगा. ये मेरा है ये तुम्हारा है. ये मेरा घर है ये मेरा है ये तुम्हारा है. हाँ, मैं इसमें खुश हूँ मैं उसमें खुश हूँ. ये ये कैसे होगा ये भी पढ़िए.
Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in these lives and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination.
I want to say something in this one over here. This is a very so the Lord is saying that those who are actually antakatam papam, those whose sins have been destroyed, right? No more sin. So it acts in our life also. Those whose sins has been destroyed, because we have heard Ajamil section. Once chanted the name, all the sins of the past are destroyed. Very good. Those whose sins have been destroyed, then what he says, is that yesham to antagatam papam. पाप का खत्म हो गया. जनानाम पुण्य कर्मणाम. Right, na? So, he being freed of ignorance, he acts he acts jananam punya karmanam. So, he acts in a way that is very pleasing to Mahat. Now it's not about piety. Although Prabhupada has the words also says over here, punya karmanam. This is not normal punya. Because normal punya can't make people get come out of dvanda mohena nirmukta. People rather than by doing punya, they are into dvanda. So they are because what happens? The maximum they look for heaven. Heaven is full of dvanda, right? So 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 there is not punya, a pious activity. So punya karmanam, actually, actually jananam punya karmanam, actually the karma which is very pleasing, to the Mahat, to the great souls. And because of this, then all the path is destroyed. Right? No? So for such people, what happens? And what happens with them? Then they are freed from Dvanda Mohena Bharata. All the dualities uh, washes away from their mind and their heart. And then what happens? Bhajante mam vridah vrataha. Oh, Abhi, he will do my bhakti, will engage in my devotional service with great determination. Vridah vrataha. Now he is not be. So one thing is very clear for us also before we read the purport. Uh, we have to live the life, in a way and perform our bhakti in a way that is pleasing to the great souls. So, surely, in that pleasing to the great souls means for following four regs comes very naturally to us. We can't break it. If we break it, द्वंद मोहे न भारत नहीं होने वाला. ये द्वंद मोह से खत्म नहीं होने वाला. द्वंद नहीं खत्म होने वाला तो दृढ़ व्रता डिटर्मिनेशन से भक्ति नहीं होने वाली. So, his so Dhruv Maharaj could rise from Dvanda. He followed Narad Muni like anything. And because he was following, he got rid of all the sinful reactions that he had, in terms of having the material body and the material desires. He was doing with determination, he was. Because determination lack when we know, when the dvanda is there in our heart, or the sinful beasts are there in our heart. Or sinful beasts to chhoro, sinful reactions, the sinful actions that people do, and the reaction of which does not allow us to be determined in devotional life. So if somebody is silently, is doing some sinful habit, sinful activities, oh, never determination will come to perform bhakti. And they will be asked, I will keep on asking, ओ कैसे डिटर्मिनेशन लाए कि हम ना बोल दे इसको? अरे पहले तुम पाप छोड़ो। पाप करना छोड़ो, फिर आएगा। और पाप करना छोड़ो और कैसे जियो? नो, पाप करना छोड़ना तो एक चीज है, उससे ऊपर है that you live the life, your devotional life, in a way that is pleasing to the great souls, by because of which पाप करने का टेंडेंसी भी खत्म हो जाएगा. then then he rises from above this duality, dvanda mohena bharata. Because of this dvanda is because of that ignorance. Ignorance is destroyed by the mercy of that great soul. No, then what happens is, is very famous. Bhajante ma nirda vrata. So this is a very important verse for all of us, because we have to perform bhakti in a very bitter way, right? So please read the purport. Yeah, read
Those
bro.
responsible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful,
Deceitful. Deceitful.
it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously and have conquered sinful reactions, can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the supreme personality of Godhead. Then gradually they can meditate in trance on the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees. For in the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion.
That's what has been said. So Prabhupada says, for those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, deceitful. Sinful we understand now. Atheistic we understand. Foolish. Foolish means what? Who is this foolish? हाँ? अरे बोलिए. नहीं, तो आवाज क्लियर नहीं है. हाँ, yeah. Yes. We are not talking about that foolish. Namam दुष्कृतनो मूढ़ा. नहीं, वो तो आता ही नहीं. उसको भी ले सकते हैं क्योंकि एथिस्टिक भी है. तमाम दुष्कृतनो मूढ़ा वाला भी आ जाएगा. Those who are attached. And deceitful. What is this deceitful? This is very important for us. Huh? So your sound seems to be coming from, I don't know, not so clear.
Even after knowing what is right, he मतलब जानबूझ के नहीं करेगा follow.
Crooked. Is a crooked. Cheater. Right now. I hope that's a dictionary meaning of the word. So no, yeah, foolish focuses on temporary. Deceitful is basically a cheater. And so cheater, we should never be any of these categories. They perform sins, atheistic, foolish, okay, cheater. This crooked behavior is a very bad
Yes, Guru. Guruji,
behavior.
what do you refer here for foolish? Like you said, it is not from the No.
Nah, and you can say it as both as a naman dushkritma mura prapadyante naradhama भी आ जाएगा इसमें. It is even foolish. So, and also, people who are yet, basically these people only, Prabhu, and those who actually, or those also foolish people who does not take association of Mahat because of their sakam nature. They don't want to break that, right? You might have, like we hear sometimes some boys they say, नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो प्रभु के पास नहीं जाऊंगा मैं, जाऊंगा तो क्या होगा, हमारा सारा अटैचमेंट का धुआं उड़ जाएगा. है ना, मैं प्रभुपाद का लेक्चर नहीं सुनूंगा. There are people like that. Now Prabhupada would say very heavily, no, 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 want to maintain material attachment. Foolish people. You understand, no, Prabhu? Both are. Those who want to maintain material attachment and those who are
Yes,
of
Prabhuji.
category of, yeah, yes. And the problem biggest is deceitful. Uh, it means deceitful in the sense that crooked. Crooked people can't. Because crooked people, they will show to the Mahat, oh, I am very good. They will show to the Mahat, I am very, good person. But, but show only. He doesn't actually reveals himself. Deceitful. So they can't, because, they can't, it's difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. You know. So, so actually, uh, as to some of you have shown maybe before about an article of Gaur Govind Maharaj on crookedness. His article is very, very powerful. We all have to work in their life, in our lives, to give up crookedness. If we figure it out, there's a crookedness, give it up. It's very dangerous. Here also, Prabhupada, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion. So now here Prabhupada explains it, Prabhu. I said that piously is not a normal piety, mundane piety. This is about practicing regulative principle of religion. 64 items of regulative devotional service. One has to do. So when you, you know, that's the meaning also over here very clearly. This is not mundane piety. So when you are actually circumambulating Tulsi Maharani, and singing, sing with meaningful, with quite understanding. Yani kani cha pa pani brahma hatyadhikani cha tani tani pranayashanti kadakshina pade pade. So by act of devotional service, which is pleasing to the Mahats, because it is ordained by the Mahat, what happens is that all the sinful goes away. Sinful reactions goes away. And who have conquered sinful reaction can accept devotional service and then gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whose sinful bank account has been removed by engaging into devotional piety activities, which is pleasing to the great souls, the regulative devotional service, then pure knowledge about the Lord is actually awakened in their heart, gradually rises. Then what will happen? Then he can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it will rise, his trance in meditation will increase. That is the process of being such, because this entire section ka yahi crux hai, right? No? And no, that is the process of being situated. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotee. For in the association of pure devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. That's what has been stated over here. And now Prabhupada quotes about the 5.52. I already quoted to you. And then Prabhupada writes the last, please read the yellow highlighted.
The impersonalists do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the supreme law is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination.
हाँ so some the impersonalists will say, hey, हम तो पाप नहीं करते, है ना, हम तो बहुत ऊपर है उससे. But they don't know that पाप नहीं करते कैसे. यही सबसे बड़ा पाप है एक तरह से, क्योंकि that is Prabhupada's writing. Because these impersonalist people, they forget their subordinate position. That is the greatest violation of God's law. And which Mahat likes this? So they also, that is why they can't. Unless one is reinstated in his constitutional position, to a degree it is happening, but knowledge is awakening. It's not possible to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination. Right? So we have to know our determination will increase to the degree we, the sinful actions and reactions leaves us by engaging ourselves into, not by karma kanda method, the sinful reactions will go away. But when we engage in emotional activities, pious activities, you know, so bhakti, four regulatory principles of bhakti when we follow, which is in a way which is pleasing to the great souls, it goes away, then eventually, and the knowledge comes, our our determination, meditation, and trance for the Lord increases. That's the whole this program. So that's a very beautiful purport which Prabhupada has written to us, where he has clarified to a large degree, but very clearly he has clarified everything, that how one can, and this is very simple because then Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, सब कुछ होगा, right ना. जब तक पाप है, पाप का इच्छा, पाप पाप के कारण द्वंद इतना रहता है कि उसका बुद्धि कभी लग ही नहीं सकता भगवान पे. So this punya karma people, who are engaged into four regulative principles of devotional life, they are qualified for bhakti. And in this qualification, which has been said for performance of bhakti, mahat is a very important factor because uh, because when they are pleased only with the things, then everything leaves, the bad leaves us and good comes in our life. So and as a predominance of, so one a person starts following these regulatory principles of devotional service, what happens? Two things happens in a very gradual way. In the first step only, sattva guna will predominate, tamo guna will go away. This is a result, and that is how when sattva actually illusion reduces, eventually they will become attached to the Lord. Eventually become attached and to the Lord, constantly, and then detached from the sinful practices. So this is Dandamoha Bharata. They become steady. And that the Durdavata is worship with great determination. So that's what has been said, so Antagatam Papam. How? By Punya Karma. That Durdavata, attained by association. So there's a shloka which has been said about, in the, about Vishnur. Vishnur Bhutani Bhutanam Pavanaya Charantihi. The servants of Vishnu, actually, that's why these great souls, what they do, they charanti. Nunam charanti. That also in the shloka says, why to purify the world? And those who are actually fortunate people, they grab their lotus feet, hear from them, follow their their directions in their life, becomes punya karmana, and follows punya karmana, gets rid of antagatam papam, desavrata happens. That's what is the whole here. Yes, bro, somebody has a question. I saw a raise of
Hmm.
hand. Please.
Okay, can you please show the first paragraph of the purport?
Mm. You all don't sit with the book, huh? अंडरलाइन
Yes,
में
sir.
कुछ नहीं करते क्या आप लोग?
लेकिन मोबाइल
नहीं,
पे नोट्स में
मैं आपको ही नहीं बोल रहा, सबको बोल रहा हूँ। मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ, अगर नहीं कर रहे अंडरलाइन आप लोग, भगवत गीता, भक्ति शास्त्र ही खत्म हो जाएगा। कुछ नहीं, सब कुछ नया लगेगा दोबारा से। नो, शॉर्टकट नहीं चलता। मैं दिखा रहा हूँ आप लोग को, बट मैंने यहाँ खुल के बोल रहा हूँ ये। भगवत गीता हमेशा नया ही रहेगा। अच्छी बात है, नया रहेगा, बट थोड़ा अज्ञान में नया रहे। पढ़िए भैया, क्या बोल रहे थे थोड़ी।
हाँ, प्रभु फर्स्ट पर्पट में लिखा है द रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ रिलीजन. So we have two
हम्म।
things, Prabhuji, the regulative principles of devotional service and regulative principle of religion. Prabhuji, the 64 are
हाँ,
regulative principles of devotional service, and Prabhuji, in the Vedic scriptures, there are some principles of religion also given, which actually elevates the living entity. So slowly and slowly they get rid of sinful reaction. So Prabhuji, is it the thing which is given is that, can we consider that also the Vedic regulative principles of religion,
ना,
which will slowly
by
free us
following
from?
Vedic regulative principle, Mahat is not pleased. Mahat here na, here, that's why na Prabhupada is also quoting 5.5.2 Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahur Vimukte. There are many people, who maybe maybe in goodness and sattva, but they can't understand that they become impersonalists. That's why I said ना, impersonalist का क्यों नीचे दिया गया है। नहीं वैसे हम तो पाप नहीं करते, अरे बट पाप क्या है? यही पाप है कि तुम भगवान का पालन नहीं कर, भगवान से तुम, अभी तो ये भी है ना। सो दैट इज व्हाई आई सेड दिस, है ना। आपको ऊपर याद है रहेगा, तो मैंने बोला था इच्छा द्वेष समुत्थेन। ये द्वेष और इच्छा, यह है ना भगवान, ये किसी भी चीज से अटैचमेंट और हेटरेड है ना। It shows our attachment and our hatred towards the Lord, an attachment to become the Lord. Because in this world, whatever people are in a mundane way, if they are attached to, they want to enjoy that. So, no, so over here, it is more and more about uh, about actually what pleases this the great Mahat, because they award us this. Else, ये पाप नहीं जाने वाला पुण्य करने में से, नॉर्मल धर्म पालन करने से। ये तो आप भी जानते हैं ना, एवरी वन ऑफ अस नो दैट bad karma is not nullified by good karma, right? Nullification doesn't happen. Only through bhakti it happens. So how one can say just by following Vedic principles?
Prabhuji, I meant to say we have that verse na kutam bijam phalamukam, that by
Ah,
austerity and
that
penances also all sinful
that is
reaction
not.
eradicates. But ignorance does
Oh,
not eradicate.
no, no, no.
Hmm.
You come to NOD, you read that verse. Please don't quote it like that. That is the result of pure devotional service. क्लेश अग्नि में पढ़ेंगे आप. That doesn't happen by normal devotional service also. क्लेशाग्नि वो पूरा आएगा सेक्शन उधर. Right now, bro? You want me to show? I can show you also. Right now, only we will uh, NOD, इधर ही NOD हो जाएगा फिर. NOD जब आप पढ़ेंगे, तो आप अभी भी पढ़, you can pick up the proper book of NOD and read the characteristics of devotional service. Prabhupada explains. That is the verse which is being quoted over there.
Prabhuji, I was not quoting that Kleshagni Shubhada verse. I was quoting that Kutam bijam phalon
No,
mukha, in other words.
Kutam Philam Bajam Bijam Phalon Mukham is Kleshagni is being quoted over
अच्छा
there.
अच्छा.
अरे क्लेश का थोड़ी यार, सिक्स्थ कैंटो फर्स्ट चैप्टर प्रभु. परीक्षित महाराज सुखदेव गोस्वामी back and forth, they are saying सुखदेव गोस्वामी is testing him. आए चला जाएगा, ये पुण्य करेगा, थोड़ा ये करेगा, क्या कहते हैं, प्रायश्चित करेगा, चला जाएगा. परीक्षित महाराज बोलता है, अरे क्या चला जाता है गुरु जी, नहीं जाता, वापस करते हैं लोग, राइट ना, नहीं जाता.
वो जो सिंफुल रिएक्शन चला जाता है, पर जो प्रोपेंसिटी है वो नहीं जाती ना.
नहीं, even the reactions won't be burnt because propensity कैसा है वो sinful reaction जो है वो दो चीज को प्रोड्यूस करते रहता है. सो
प्रारब्ध और
वो sinful,
प्राकृतिक.
हाँ वो करते रहेगा, टेंडेंसी भी आते रहेगा, उधर से ही आता है टेंडेंसी,
हम्म. फिर
जाता
प्रभु जी जो
रहेगा.
फिफ्थ, ये जो फिफ्थ लाइन में प्रभु जी लिखा है, हु हैव कॉन्कर्ड सिंफुल रिएक्शन कैन एक्सेप्ट डिवोशनल सर्विस. तो प्रभु जी इसको ऐसा बोल सकते हैं क्या, हु हैव कॉन्कर्ड सिंफुल रिएक्शन थ्रू प्लीजिंग द महत कैन एक्सेप्ट डिवोशनल
हाँ,
सर्विस.
दैट्स व्हाट मैं ओपनली बोल रहा हूँ, इसलिए आपको बोला ना मैंने, है ना, इसलिए तो मैं आपको इतना बीच में बोल रहा था, यहाँ पे जबकि लिखा नहीं है. क्यों मैं बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि बलदेव विद्याभूषण लिखते हैं. तो ना, प्रभुपाद ने इसलिए नीचे लिखा है ना, ये 5.5.2.
एंड वैसे भी प्रभु जी एक और चीज बोला था, वो फिफ्थ लाइन में जो लिखा है, हु हैव कॉन्कर्ड सिंफुल रिएक्शन कैन एक्सेप्ट डिवोशनल सर्विस. मतलब जिसके सिंफुल रिएक्शन खत्म हो गए वो डिवोशन उसको मिल जाएगा. तो फिर डिवोशन डिपेंड हो गया इरेडिकेशन ऑफ सिंफुल रिएक्शन पे. पर अपन
नहीं
बोलते हैं
नहीं,
डिवोशन.
महत महत ये आएगा, नीचे आएगा श्लोक
हाँ
में.
महत. यस प्रभु जी. यस यस. अब समझ
आएगा
गया.
आएगा आएगा, वो ऐसा नहीं होने वाला. भक्ति ऐसे नहीं मिलने वाला, कोई कितना भी कहीं भी लिख दिया गया हो, छिपा रहेगा महत का कृपा. ठीक है.
यस प्रभु जी.
हाँ चलो, ये वर्णाश्रम, वर्णाश्रम बोलो, ये नॉर्मल धार्मिक प्रिंसिपल से नहीं मिलने वाला. सब ब्राह्मण होते फिर साउथ इंडिया में बैठे उधर भक्त. खाली त्रिपुंड त्रिपुंड भी नहीं जाता उनका, भक्त क्या बनेंगे. भक्त बनाना उनका बहुत मुश्किल है. हाँ, चलो, अभी क्या था नेक्स्ट होगा, खत्म करना है आज कैसे भी, ये 4 मिनट है ब्रो. हाँ चलो, जरन मरण मोक्षाय. बट माय रिक्वेस्ट इज, हाँ, सिट विद बुक एंड अंडरलाइन एंड मेक नोट्स, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला. जर मरण मोक्षाय माम आश्रित यतान यतान यतन्ति ते ते ब्रह्म तद्विदु कृष्णम अध्यात्मम कर्म चाखिलम. पढ़िए.
Translate.
Intelligent persons who are enduring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They're actually Brahman because they
ब्रह्मन
entirely
ब्रह्मन,
knows
नॉट
Brahman.
ब्राह्मण. हम्म.
They're actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities.
हाँ, यहाँ से पढ़ो.
Purport by Shilpa. Four kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieves their respective goals, and by the grace of the Supreme Lord. When they are fully Krishna consciousness, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligence Brahman realized person cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mam Ashritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna's planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form of Archa of the Lord or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage, also known by the grace of the Lord, the purports of Brahman, Adhibhuta, etc.
So yeah, so this verse actually becomes the bija verse for the next chapter, because over here the Lord is using, these words, adhyatma and all this becomes a bija for it. So this is a verse actually for no, we know Artho Artharthi Jigyasu, the Sakam people. Now the fourth category proposes four kind of impure devotees. Who is the fourth category? Not the Gyani. Fourth category, those are Siddhi, no, yogi people. Those who engage in transcendental achieve the respective goal by the grace of the Lord. So they eventually will also receive the Lord, you know, who are endeavoring for liberation from. So these are people who are actually of this category. They are mukti kam or kamna yogi people basically. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know about everything about the transcendental activities. So these people eventually, when they also associate with the devotees, becomes mam ashrityah. They they actually come to that level of surrendering to the Lord and understand the Lord. So then, yeah, uh, so this fourth category of people is also been explained because then actually a question will come over here that those yogi, what happens to those because intelligent people, Krishna is saying about intelligent people because the natural question will come, अरे ठीक है ये योगी लोग का क्या होता है बाबा तो जो कि क्योंकि चरण मरण मोक्षाय ये इनको यही चाहिए मोक्ष कामी है ये लोग इनका क्या होता है सो दे वर्शिप द लॉर्ड एंड दे एक्चुअली they come to the they by the mercy of the devotees they will also come to the Brahman also to that stage they are called as Brahman over here so they desiring freedom from birth and death so they take shelter of me and makes effort to worship me in my deity form they offer respects to it and performs other actions so they are connected to me, and that is how they are. So Adhyatma, Krishnam, all this word will be explained, but right, I will not be explaining it over here. And then the last verse for this chapter will complete, so and then we'll move, and then we'll end for today. Please wait. We'll just read the purport and translations, and then we'll end. Here Krishna says, uh, Sadhibhutam आदिदेवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रायेण काले अपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः translation.
Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation, of the demigods, and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death.
Hmm.
Purport. Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus prompted to the planet of Supreme Lord Golok Vrindavan.
So now, Srila Prabhupada writes very clearly, but those who are not deviated from the path of entirely understanding, uh, they get into transcendental association, and that's why then now Prabhupada actually concludes this chapter by saying that how uh, the seventh chapter he is giving a summary of it. And Prabhupada writes over here many subjects have been discussed in this chapter the man in distress, inquisitive, the man in want of material necessity, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from birth, there is and disease, and worship of the Supreme. However, read now from him, however.
However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care for different processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby factually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by his doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Drid Vritta, and it is the beginning
Vrata.
and it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scripture. This seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction.
I'm just saying over here, it will be helpful to you ahead in your even NOD. This determined faith called Dhrida Vrata, and it is a beginning of Bhakti Yoga. Ado Shraddha. Right? No? This Ado Shraddha is this Ado Shraddha is over here the Dravata, determined faith, not a normal faith. So that's what is said over here. So thank you very much. We end over here. Hare Krishna. Next week, fresh chapter. Prabhupada ki jai.